Stand by. We're getting the stream set up. Vertical stream going as well, but I think that's breaking it, so hold on. Why do I have I don't understand what's going on with YouTube. I might have to ditch YouTube and try to figure that out later because that's the wrong thing. Hold on. Alright, well, YouTube is not working, but that's okay. I would love to get it to work. I just don't know what is the problem. Hey, there we go. Okay. Oh, was it just working the whole time and then it might have been working the whole time and I was just on the wrong screen. Oh well. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, so last night we did a stream, and um, these two outputs I thought were very interesting. Um, it's just very weird compared to all the other ones. So I kind of want to try and replicate these a bit more. So um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up when I save, and so the biggest thing that is driving the different styles in this is going to be, so the title of the stream is, what did I call it? Exploring broken matrices. So what we're doing, so the main thing that's happening, I think I've already explained in previous streams, but just to briefly go over it, you're basically making a rectangle, and you're dividing it up into vertical and horizontal lines, and then you're warping that grid space and in turn warping those lines. And then to make things, so originally I was just doing vertical bars and horizontal bars, shuffling those together and overlaying them. But to make it more interesting, I wanted to be able to, so this bar, instead of being one shape, break it up into a bunch of smaller shapes that they break along the intersections from the vertical and horizontal lines. And you can vary, so like for, instead of just having square, 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 you could have like rectangle, square, smaller rectangle, big rectangle, you know what I mean? Like you could randomly choose to go through those intersections. Yeah. So anyways, the formula to find the intersection between two lines, given the two endpoints of each line, is this. And for those interested, this is basically their, and I did learn this at one point, but I had to Google it again because I don't remember. Let me see. I'll show you the wiki for it. Okay. So, oh God, so bright. So the intersection of two lines given x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, x4, y4. You're going to use the determinants. I don't fully remember how these are derived, but this is the formula. Yeah, plug in the numbers. So this is one way of writing a determinant, and then when you it's like this times this minus this times this minus this times this minus this times this. Do all that out, and then sorry. Yeah, this times this minus this times this, you get that. Then you do this times this minus this times this, you get that. Do it for that one, and then you do this times this minus this times this. You get the idea. Anyways, you get these two equations. And so my idea for something that I really like doing is like making it the right way and then just seeing what happens if I break it. So the first thing I tried was just like, okay, what if I make one of these minus signs a plus sign and add and subtract? And that made a drastic difference. So I've rewritten this formula in a little bit more expanded but simplified view. And then from there, I can, so this mod, I make an array of ones, but there's 1 minus 1 in that array, and I shuffle it, and then we just multiply either 1 or minus 1 to all the bits of this formula. So this, we're going to put a times minus 1 or times 1 here. Same thing here, same thing this, and then all of these ones, this one. But only one of them gets a minus 1 based off of how the mod array shuffles. Anyways, so all of this basically just randomly puts 1 plus sign instead of a minus sign out of these two equations. Take any one of these minus signs, make it plus. That's all this does. So what I want to do is look more closely at where the plus sign is put and how it affects the outputs. So I think the way I want to do that first is just go to the, so these are where I'm making those equations. So basically I'm saying make a new array of length 20 filled with ones, and then put a minus 1 in there, and then shuffle it. So instead what we're going to do is I'm going to say we're going to say, oh, I got to look this up because I always forget if it's slice or splice. JS splice. I think it's splice. Right. Splice, start, delete, count, item. So we're going to do mod1 dot splice. We'll start at 0. Delete count 0, or I guess 1. And then the items being minus 1. And then we'll say mod 2 equals mod 1. I had mod 1 and mod 2 so that the background and the foreground could be different. For right now, actually, you know what? So mod 1 is the background. Let's just not touch mod 1, and we'll just do mod 2. Okay, so the background will always be a plain grid, and then the front thing, because there's two grids, there's background grid and there's the front one. The front one is the one that we're going to adjust, and then let's just see how, as we step through these, how changing the position of this plus or minus affects the output. Okay, we did something wrong. Hold on. Mod 1 is still, mod 1 should just be this. Okay. If it's twist, which for whatever reason is what I called it, that's going to be the front one. Use mod 1, otherwise use mod 2. Mod 1. Okay. And then what we'll actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're not even gonna look at. We're not even gonna do this. Let's just get rid of it. And let's only have the front one. Okay. Now another thing that is going to have effect on this is the how distorted originally the just thinking how distorted originally the grid is, because that's going to change. Whatever. Let's just try it. Let's just see where we go. So this is changing the first minus sign to a plus sign. There's a lot of variation. You know what we can do too? We could just say we're going to switch this. So we're not going to do the foreground. We're going to do the background. Okay, and then we'll do hello. Huh. Okay. So if you don't have any distortion in the grid, you don't get any effects, only for save a few options. That's interesting, because then because what I've done is I've just forced it to always be, so the background grid is just a perfect square. But if we do 1.1, okay. So this has a very huge difference. So okay, I guess the first thing I'm looking for, can I make this consistently? Because this looks like almost like a rolling hills landscape. So we're gonna go through these, see if any of these give us that look. And just for consistency, we should turn that off. I'm sure there's a more sophisticated way that I could do this, but I don't want to. Yeah, fuck it, we will. Let's make a new variable in setup called the minus sign. Oh no, sorry. The plus sign equals 0. The plus sign. And then let's make a key so to go up, we'll just do L. And we'll say, we'll just do this. Key equals K. We want to make sure we don't let the plus sign, whoa! We want to make sure we don't let the plus sign go below 0 or greater than 19, because that's going to be the limit. And then we want to also make sure that if I do that, we want to reset. Okay, so now if I just hit R, we'll just keep running through of it at 0. And then let me also do print plus, I'll just do this. Nah, fuck it. We'll just do print the plus sign, and then we can see what the plus sign is at. So 0. Okay. Now if we do L, now it's at 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the idea. I'm not going to keep counting. Ooh. Okay. Definitely get into the, now interestingly, so the plus sign value being between 0 and 9, I think, is going to be the or 0 and 8, whatever. It's going to be the px, so dealing with the x position of the intersect, and then the rest of the numbers above that are going to be for py, the y position of the intersect. So now, and you can kind of tell, so if I go back, like you could tell, like a lot of these, let's see, or at least I could notice, like it's very much like these are all like, okay, we could see it's like this, and then when I switch to, maybe I could be hallucinating, I don't know, I feel like I notice a difference, but you know what, just take back everything I said. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ooh, okay, so these are getting kind of close to this image. Keep up this reference image. Now obviously there's a lot more factors, a lot more random variables that are gonna affect these, but this is 11, so this is pretty close to what we were looking at. Go up to 12. Okay, well, I think it must have been 11, and then it's just going to depend on all the other variables, whether or not it lines up. Yeah, I think that's the one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little notepad. Actually, first, I should have committed the code where it was before doing anything. So I'm going to do real quick before I make too many big changes. Let me, because I'll remember. That, and then Okay, and we'll commit this. This is going to be broken intersections. Okay, and now let's go back to where we were. Also, please, if anyone ever comes in the chat, can you just remind me to drink water? Holy shit. Okay. Now we're back to where we were. I also think this just, I believe this is position 0. Very cool. It's like almost like little towers. So I just want to see something here. Okay. What's crazy is so I right now have the Twitch stream up and the YouTube stream up. By the way, we're streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch is at Josh GGM and YouTube is at Gen Geomergence. I might change my YouTube username also to Josh GGM just because I feel like it's a little bit easier. But that's for a later date. But the YouTube stream is way more lagged than the Twitch stream, which is interesting. Okay. Just go in here. I don't know. Fuck all that. Just make sure it wraps. Whatever. So we're going to say notes on position plus sign in intersection formula. For background. Pause 11. Horizontal landscape. Do the same words, but whatever. Pause 0. Towers. Okay. Try to see if there's any other ones I want to make note of. I could say pause 9. Vanishing point. Okay. Now let's focus on foreground. Let's see if we can make that freaky little monster guy this thing. What the hell? And I at least believe that's the foreground, but we'll see. So now mod 1. And then we'll ignore the background, put the foreground back. So these are going to automatically be way more wild just because of the limits that I've set to foreground and background. So for the background, so if this is the, let's say this is the, this is like standard perfect square. For the background, how much it could be distorted, and let's say like this perfect, just for reference, this perfect square is the bounds of the canvas. The bounds of the background square is like constrained, so like this point can go up to here. This point can go to here, anywhere in between from here to here, and like here to here. Same thing with this one. and this one, and this one. So it can never go. So the most like distorted it could be would be like, um, would be like, I don't even know if this is a good representation of like the most distorted, but you get the idea. Like you really can't do too much crazy because I want to make, or at least, and you know, I can always change this, but I wanted to make sure that the background always filled the screen. But for the foreground, the limits are much more lenient. So instead of just going out to here, we can also go all the way to here, right? And then this one can go all the way to here. So now you can have like some wacky, like, you know, you could fully twist it like this, or even, you know, it could go, of course now we're getting kind of messy, but like it could be, see, it goes to that point, but then that one goes out there, and then this point, and this one, and you know, whatever. I get the idea. It is allowed to be more distorted. So, and the more distorted things are, the stranger that this formula seems to behave for the formula for intersections. Don't fully understand why. I mean, I'm sure if you were to go into the math of everything, it would make sense, but we're just here to explore. We're exploring the effects and learning from there. Okay, so we've been on position 0. So let's go to position 1 and get some more ideas of what's going on here. Position 3 or 2. Three. Let's get a reference picture up here again too. This fucking insane thing. Four. Again, there's a lot of other things that are coming into account here, right? Like, how big are the cutouts? How distorted is the shape? Oh, well, okay, there's two really big things that are going to affect it, but this is still all number 3. Or sorry, number 4. Let's go to number 5. Ooh, see, look at that shit. That's fucked. You know what that almost looks like? It almost looks like an exponential function, right? If you imagine an x and a y axis, if you like plot tan, tan plot. Yeah, there you go. No, is it a tan plot? No. What am I thinking of? That was tan. Exponential plots. What am I thinking of? It's like this. Kind of. I don't know. This is something. I feel like it's tangent, but whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Hmm. We're still in the same one that crazy thing was just produced, so. Okay. Well, potentially number 5. Let's go to number 6. Yeah, I mean, so right away, like, it's clear that the variations for the foreground one, because of that, like the freedom of how that original quad can be distorted, is going to make this way more variable than the background, where it's like more constrained into being a square or like a non-intersecting. Because I think what happens is when a square is allowed to twist so that you have an intersection, I think that's what's causing this insanity. Good insanity, but because a lot, like, it's hard to tell the difference between, where we're putting that plus sign. All right, we'll go to 7. Like, there's some maybe, but I don't know. I mean, to the point where, like, I don't even know how much of a difference it makes. Like, that's epic. I like too how some of the smaller ones almost look like little spaceships. I had an idea. I saw someone on Instagram had a post. I wish I could remember their name because they have a cool page. But it was like I believe it was like designed for like video game art, and there's like a little spaceship in it, and I thought that was a little inspiring. Nice to make cool, like, futuristic landscapes with a little spaceship flying in the background. Um, okay. I feel like my brain is hurting a little bit from the constant screen changing, and I'm sure that it's not necessarily enjoyable for the audience either. Also, um, this is to the this is a message to anyone who watches this VOD afterwards. No one is watching the stream right now. So, when I said the audience, I actually meant you. There you go. That's just for you. Okay. This is boring. Let's. Hmm. I'm going to go back to just kind of running through some more of these, and maybe we can, as we put like 2 of them in there instead of just 1. Oh, it breaks. Right. Was mod 2 the one that is the background? I can't remember. Yes. You know, it's another thing we can do for future things. Find, this is a function for one purpose. Find n array n. Let pause equals 0, or let value of array if value equals n. Break pause plus plus return pause. What did I call that? Find n. Find n mod 2 minus 1. Fg pause equals find n mod 1 minus 1. and we're just gonna look up another thing. What in the fuck am I trying to do? Sorry. Eesh. I was trying to see if I can. There's an easy way to get like the date, so I can like save it as like 1-20-916 30 seconds, whatever. And I'm sure there's a stupid, easy way to do that. Maybe some library that I can add or whatever, but. Or I could figure out how to convert Unix time to, because date.now, this is giving me the time in milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. Which, I mean, that works as a seed, but it's just a long fucking number. And it's not really helpful. Wait. This is a thing. Oh. Date. Oh. Invalid date. Sorry, let me just, I don't like typing there. Let me do this. Let date equals date dot now. Print date. Okay. Print new date of date dot to string. Tuesday. Wow, look at this. Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, 21:19:48 GMT minus 0500 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I mean, that's wonderful. But can we get this in just a very simple format? Sorry. get month. Okay. Print date dot get month. Not working. Oh, January gives 0. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so then I should be able to do get year. That should be 126. Okay, get day or get date 20. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, that's super nice. I wish I knew this so long ago. Then we can do a nice little formatting thing. Actually, you know what we should do? Let's clean this up. Let's make a function, and then I can access this function later. Function get date formatted. Okay. Let string let formatted date equal this a new string. Return date dot get. So we want to do day, month, year. I know it's listen, I'm just trying to think of how they're going to get organized. How do they do this? So it's going to be, it's all going to be the same, and then that's just, that's fine. Whatever. We're going to do get date plus date dot get month plus date dot get year. Date, month, year, and then we want to do time, hours, minutes, and seconds. Why did I thought I put this on word wrap already? I wish I could do this, but that won't. Can't do that in a PNG name, so we'll just do can I do dots in a name? No, we'll just do dashes. get minutes. Cool. Okay, let's try this. Get date formatted. Print. Get date formatted. 20/0/126, 21/26/18. Nice. Nice. Don't want to reformat this at all. It's long, and I could remove the dashes and stuff, and I would be fine with that, but we'll leave it like that for now. We spent enough time on this. So now we'll do, because this is gonna be a long get date formatted. Okay. Grid D. BG pause 11, FG pause 10, 27-9. That's not right. Okay, sorry. I was hovering over it. 7. So 20/0/126, 21/27/50. Nice. Okay. And can we just call this grid lowercase? Okay. Cool. Because otherwise my folder of these outputs is just like name, generic name in parentheses 1, 2, 3. Like, come on. That's fucking hideous. Now, to be a little bit more order to the chaos, and I can have a little bit of data attached to it as far as the settings. Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like today's stream was a little bit of a maintenance, a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of trying to understand how things work a bit more, giving a little bit more. I mean, the main things we did is we added that functionality of being able to look through each individual plus sign insert and see how it affects things. We definitely learned that the how distorted the original grid is makes a huge difference into how that works. Honestly, I think this is super cool. The fact that I could just like this little, hold on one more time. Can I just, like, this is so cool. The fact that I can do this and I get this nice little printout all written out nicely is such a cool thing. Hold on. Can I see it like this? No. Oh, .toString. Oh. Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. That's such a neat thing. But now we have it formatted to give us something that we can use to better label our outputs. Fun. Alright, I'm tired. It was a long day at work. Kind of just want to check out for the rest of the night, so. I don't know if anyone checked in on the stream today, but if anyone's watching this on the VOD, thanks for checking me out. I'm going to try to post a schedule for when I'm going to do live streams. One thing before I go that I wanted to talk about that I'd like to do at some point, because for this right now, I think I have this will probably be like the 5th VOD that I have up for this stream. I'd like to start recording them and saving them personally, and then but what I want to do if I do that is I want to start from scratch, and I want to go through building out a project from the beginning all the way through to like the point I'm at now with this one, because I kind of started these streams when I had already kind of built the bones of this, and it was just down to like customizing. So because I think that'd be a cool little video series to have on YouTube, and then I can upload all those videos to YouTube, and then you can watch like part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever. Just kind of going through and coding. I don't know if I'm going to edit it at all. It's going to be probably an hour-long video each of just sitting there and figuring out how to do an idea. But yeah, if that seems interesting, definitely let me know if you're watching this. But